بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وبعد. Abu Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إن مما أدرك الناس من كلام النبوة الأولى إذا لم تستحي ففعل ما شئت. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إن مما أدرك الناس من كلام النبوة الأولى. There is advice that has come down the generations from the different anbiya. Meaning from the time of Adam alayhi salam and afterward, there is some advice that has come down generation through generation. And what is that advice? إِذَا لَمْ تَسْتَحِ فَاسْنَعْ or فَفَعَلْ مَا شِئْتَ. That if you do not have haya, you do not have shame in your life, then do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Now obviously this is known as a rhetorical statement. In English, a rhetorical statement is when somebody's upset and they speak to their child. For instance, I told my son that, listen, you have to come home at 8 o'clock. He comes home at 10:30 and he walks inside and I'm so mad and I said, you know what? If you want, you can come back at 1 o'clock as well. Now obviously if he comes back at 1 o'clock, the door's going to be locked. Nobody's coming back inside of this house at 1 o'clock. But when I told him come back at 1 o'clock, I'm just rhetorically telling him that, listen, do whatever you want. It's a sign of being upset and a sign of anger. You call this a rhetorical statement in English. In Arabic, you call it istihkam. Istihkam means Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would say something, and the idea is, no, you cannot do this. So what's the hadith? The hadith is saying, إِذَا لَمْ تَسْتَحِي فَاصْنَعْ مَا شِئْتَ. When you do not have haya, when you do not have shame, then the eventual outcome is you will do whatever you want. Shame and haya has two concepts, two levels. One is haya from Allah, and one is haya from the people. One is haya from Allah, and one is haya from the people. Haya from Allah means nobody is watching, and I am so conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I will not carry out some ignoble behavior, some inappropriate behavior. This is the highest level of haya because this haya is coming from taqwa. This level of haya when nobody's watching me and I'm shameful that, you know what, Allah has blessed me so much, how can I do haram? How can I see haram? How can I listen to haram? How can I do haram? Then that comes from a level of taqwa. The second level of haya is haya minan nas. That when I'm doing something, I'm scared what people are going to think. For instance, I have some bad friends and I hang out with them, but nobody in the community knows. My parents don't know, my siblings don't know. And once in a while when I want to go out with them, I have this sense of shame that what will people think about me if I do this? If I'm with them, what will people think about me? Now, some people may say this is showing off. Why should I stop doing something or do something because people watch me? However, sometimes Allah will bring opportunities for us to stop our wrong, even though it's not the best reason. Sometimes Allah will put an obstacle in our way, even though it's not the best reason. You know, subhanAllah, I always think about this funny incident. It's kind of funny, but it happened to me a few years back. I was on my way for Salatul Jumu'ah in Arlington, and I was running late. I was driving, so I was running late, and I'm looking at the time and I needed to make it. And we all know traffic lights, there's different types. There are different characters of traffic lights. Some traffic lights, in like 30 seconds, it's gonna change from red to green. But there are some traffic lights, it's like they go to sleep. You're waiting over there and the traffic light is red, it's red, it's red. It's so long, sometimes people take detours, they go around, and they'll still make it before the people while they're waiting over here. So there's one traffic light that's one of those traffic lights. I'm going. I can see from a distance, every car is going. I have my feet on the pedal like I'm going to make it. So I'm going really fast. And the last second, the light turns yellow. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way I'm going to make it. But if I go a little bit faster, I'm going to make it. But in that last split second, another car comes in front of me and skips the light. But because that car came in front of me, I pushed the brake so hard that I stopped. He made it past the yellow, but I stopped right on the red. And I got so upset and so mad. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm going to miss the Jumu'ah. I'm going to be late. It's not going to look good. What's wrong with this person? He came in front of me, and I'm thinking about all this bad dua I can make for this person. But technically, he prevented me from something good. But subhanallah, the moment I looked up, I saw a traffic police right there. Traffic police right there waiting for the person to skip the red. If that car never came and I was going fast and I skipped that red, forget about coming late for Jumu'ah. I would be crying my way to Jumu'ah because I got a speeding ticket and I got a ticket for skipping the red light as well. And at that moment I realized Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sometimes He puts a car in front of you just so that you can press the brakes. In your mind, you're thinking, why did this obstacle come? I really wanted to do that thing, but Allah forces an obstruction because He has khair intended for you. The number of times in our lives we want to do something. There's a type of business, there's something I want to buy, and I know it's not right. I want to invest something and it's not right. And I'm trying to get money, I'm trying to do something, but it's not working out. Why? I'm thinking to myself, I wish it works out so I can make more money, but everything is corruption, everything is lying, everything is stealing, but Allah puts an impediment in my way because there's goodness in for me. I want to meet up with somebody, I want to watch something, I want to do something, I want to say something, but I'm obstructed, and in my mind I think that's an obstruction, but no. Allah is closing one door so that He can open another door for me. And that's what we mean by ahkamul hakimin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the wisest of planners. And I mentioned this right after Maghrib. Man taraka shay'an lillahi awwadahu Allahu khayran min. Whoever leaves something out, Allah will give him something better. Now, we're talking about haya. We're talking about haya, having shame. Let's say, for instance, I'm doing something wrong. And at some point, I think to myself, you know what? What will my children think about me? What will my spouse think about me? What will my parents think about me? And because of that shame, I stop doing that. Now, some people will say, wait, this is showing off. No, this is not showing off. If I leave an action because of the shame that I feel for other people, yes, that's not the best way of doing it. The best reason to leave something is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But ultimately, it has prevented me and stopped me from doing wrong. That's something good in my life. I'm going to repeat that again. Sometimes we have certain habits in our lives that are bad. Between me and Allah. Nobody knows between me and Allah. There's certain wrong things that I do. And I feel the shame that, what if my husband finds out? What if my wife finds out? What if my parents find out? My siblings, my neighbor? If my neighbor knows I do this, what would happen? What if somebody finds out? What's going to happen? And that shame drives me to leave out the haram. That's not showing off. I should leave it out. That could be a way of Allah pushing me to become a better person. So let's remember, إِذَا لَمْ تَسْتَحِي فَاصْنَعْ مَا شِئْتَ. If I don't have haya, I will do whatever. You know, subhanallah, Rasulullah ﷺ tells us right before the Day of Judgment, one of the signs is haya is going to leave human beings to the point that man and women will do the haram like animals outside. You're going to walk outside, just like you'll see an animal doing whatever they're doing. Man and women will be outside doing the exact same thing because there's no haya. We don't care what people think. What kind of society are we living in today? I can be a man today, I can be a woman today, I can identify like this. I don't care what you think. I don't have any shame. I can go do whatever I want. I can be with one person today, I'll be with somebody else tomorrow. I can have a marriage, I can cheat in my marriage. Who are you to tell me? I have to account to myself. This is what Rasulullah ﷺ is talking about. إِذَا لَمْ تَسْتَحِي فَاصْنَعْ مَا شِئْتَ. If you don't have haya, you don't have this accountability that there are people observing me, Allah is observing me. So the highest level is Allah is observing me. All right, طيب. If I can't have that level, the bare minimum is there are other people watching me. Let me have some decency. When I do something wrong, it has a ripple effect on other people. I want to cheat somebody in their business. I want to lie to somebody to make money. I want to steal from somebody. Now, I don't fear Allah. Na'udhu billah, but hypothetically, I don't fear Allah. But do you think Allah's going to let you go? That's going to come back and haunt and bite you. That's going to come back and harm you. That is going to come back and affect you in this life. So as we're covering this very beautiful hadith, and subhanAllah, this hadith, if you read it, what's so powerful is Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is not saying, this is my advice only. He says, minan nubuwatil ula. This advice of having haya and modesty and having some shame from Allah and shame from the creation, it's not only something I'm telling you. This is something from the time of Adam alayhi salam. All of the prophets would teach their people, one after the other, that have haya, have modesty, and you will live a blissful life. Let's not think about shame only as if I see something I begin to blush. No, shame is this idea of an inner sense of protection. That how can I do this in front of Allah? How can I show ingratitude? Just to give you one kind of picture of what haya looks like, and then we'll end over here. Imagine, haya is this. I'm in front of somebody, and I ask that person for food because I'm hungry. The person brings a plate of food, I look at it, and I take it and I throw it onto the ground. A person who has no haya, who has no sense of people's feelings will do that. That somebody gives me something, a plate of food. I begged him for the plate of food. It's the only food that he has. He gives it to me. If I take it and I throw it, that means I have no haya. Likewise, when I'm doing haram, when I'm doing wrong and Allah is watching me, my family is around me, my siblings are around me, my parents are around me, a sense of ingratitude, a sense of lack of modesty is, I have everybody's trust. Everybody thinks I'm a great person. Everybody trusts me. And I have all that trust on a plate. I asked them for their trust. I took it and I put it on a plate. And when nobody's watching, I take that and I just throw it onto the ground. That is when you do not have haya. So we need to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us haya from Him and from the creation as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from all sins, those that are hidden and those that are open. And whatever struggles and difficulties we have that are between us and Allah, we ask Allah's help in getting through those difficulties and challenges. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Subhanallahi wa bihamdih. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.